This is the first screencast for Chapter 6, Geological Processes, Soils, and Minerals. I will walk through the objectives and give a brief overview of each objective, and then I will cover the case study, and then subsequent screencasts will cover each objective in more detail. So the first objective, describe the formation of the Earth and distribution of critical elements on Earth. In brief, the Earth was formed over 4.5 billion years ago from cosmic dust that consolidated into a sphere, and as it consolidated and cooled, critical elements on the Earth were distributed, some in layers and some unevenly distributed on the surface of the Earth. So we will look at that formation and the consequences for human health, for the environment, for political and economic ramifications. The second objective, define the theory of plate tectonics and discuss its importance in environmental science. The theory of plate tectonics holds that the surface of the Earth, the solid outermost portion of the Earth, is divided into plates which are in constant motion. And that motion has various effects such as volcanoes and earthquakes. Third, describe the rock cycle and its importance in environmental science. The rock cycle isn't really a cycle, it's a series of processes that can go in any direction, and it changes one form of rock into another form of rock, usually due to changes such as great temperature, great pressure, or the action of wind and water. The fourth objective, describe soil formation and soil attributes. Soil is a mixture of minerals, and rocks, geological components, and organic components. And soil formation begins with a barren rock that doesn't have any of this mix and proceeds over a long period of time to become more and more mature soil. As it changes, as it's exposed to different types of organic material, different weather conditions, different underlying rock from which it was, parent rock from which it was made, it will obtain different characteristics, and those characteristics also have importance in environmental science, particularly when we look at things like soil that's appropriate for food production. And the fifth objective, understand how minerals are extracted from the earth, that's mining, mining, and the impacts of mining on human health and the environment. So minerals, including things like aluminum, and also including things like coal in this case, are extracted from the earth through various mining techniques. There are 5 mining techniques, 4 of them take place on the surface of the earth, and 1 subsurface. And different forms of mining have different impacts on human health and on the environment. And some of these are quite consequential. So this will form the question for your open response for this chapter. So the case study that begins this chapter, first of all, the picture here is a picture of a surface mine. And it shows a couple of things. This one is a lithium mine in Bolivia. And some of the things that we can draw from this are that when a material is mined, it's often not pure in concentration. It's mixed with other rocks and minerals. And so that changes the process, and then there will be waste and things like that that will have to be dealt with. Now the bulk of this case study, though, focuses on the making of all-electric or hybrid electric vehicles. To make these vehicles, they need special batteries and special magnets that are made of very rare earth elements, also called scarce elements. And because they're scarce, there are a number of implications. So first, the pros for a hybrid electric and an all-electric vehicle are that obviously they use less fossil fuel, and the less fossil fuel that's needed, the better. The con is the rare earth metals that are needed to produce them. And because they are rare, there's a limited supply which will eventually run out, so we need to look for alternatives. And the second issue is that because they are rare and because minerals are not distributed equally throughout the earth, there are countries such as the United States that do not have large supplies of some of these, and other countries such as China that do. So these are just a few of the considerations that we need to consider when we're considering different technologies to improve our environment and human health. So that's the end of this screencast. The next screencast will review how the Earth is formed.